Sunlight embraces a grand estate, its manicured gardens a stark contrast to the quiet sorrow within. A loving wife lies ill, beckons Cinderella, her young daughter, to her bedside with a tender, fading smile. "My sweet child, stay kind and good," she whispers, her voice frail, "and I will always be close to you in your heart." Peace descends as she passes, leaving Cinderella alone with the echo of her mother's love and a promise to keep. Sunlight kisses the budding trees, casting a gentle glow on the well-kept grave. Cinderella kneels, her touch tender as she weeds around her mother's headstone. She brushes a fallen leaf away, a silent promise kept in her gentle actions. A horse-drawn carriage appears in the distance, an echo of change on the horizon. Her father remarries. A new family arrives, altering Cinderella's fate. The stepmother and stepsisters storm into the estate, their malice a tangible presence. Their cruel eyes fixate on Cinderella, marking her as their target. With sharp laughter, they tear at Cinderella's gown, reducing it to rags. "Look at the proud little princess in rags," taunt the stepsisters, their voices dripping with scorn. They shove Cinderella towards the kitchen, her hardship now beginning. Cinderella toils, endlessly carrying water, her face smudged with soot. The stepsisters spill lentils into the ashes, their cruel laughter echoing. Ashes cling to her weary face as she kneels by the hearth. They cruelly nickname her Cinderella, the narration says, because she sleeps covered in soot. A bustling market fair explodes with life as the kind-faced father prepares to depart, his eyes reflecting weariness. He turns to his stepdaughters, their faces alight with greed and anticipation. "What gifts do you desire, my dears?" "I want a beautiful dress," cries one stepdaughter, while the other demands, "And I desire jewels, sparkling and bright." He asks Cinderella, "What shall I bring for you?" Her gentle reply, "Bring me the first twig that brushes your hat." At her mother's grave, Cinderella kneels, planting a hazel twig in the soft earth. Almost instantly, the twig bursts to life, sprouting leaves and branches towards the sky. The hazel twig transforms into a beautiful, blossoming tree, sunlight dappling through its leaves. Each day, Cinderella returns to the tree, finding solace in its shade. A little white bird appears, landing gently on a branch, its bright eyes watching Cinderella. Cinderella whispers her wishes to the bird, secrets carried on the gentle breeze. In the grand estate, King addresses his court, amidst banners heralding a festival. Giselle and Yvette clap, with thinly veiled glee, turning to Cinderella with sharp, demanding smiles. "Cinderella, darling, we have so much to prepare. The festival awaits," Giselle says. Cinderella pleads, "Stepmother, please, may I go to the festival?" Sunlight paints the simple kitchen as Cinderella faces her stepmother, a cruel smile twisting the older woman's lips. Before Cinderella, a daunting task, a massive bowl overflowing with ashes and lentils. Cinderella's brow furrows, but with a deep breath, she begins the impossible chore. A chorus of chirping fills the air as birds answer Cinderella's silent plea, fluttering through the open window. Tiny beaks work with miraculous speed, separating lentil from ash in a whirlwind of feathers. The stepmother says, "Despite your little helpers, you still may not attend. Your chores are never truly done, are they?" Under the watchful moon, shadows stretch from a hazel tree, casting the somber scene of Mother's grave. Footsteps whisper on dew-kissed grass as Cinderella approaches. Alone after the carriages depart, she whispers her wish into the silent night, her voice a soft plea carried on the breeze. A flurry of feathers announces a white bird, circling her head in a dance of destiny. A shimmering gown cascades down. Delicate silk slippers materialize as Cinderella transforms into a radiant vision. Crystal chandeliers cast a golden glow on the elegantly dressed guests as Cinderella steps into the grand ballroom, captivating all eyes. Drizella and Anastasia gawk in disbelief, failing to recognize the radiant beauty before them. Prince Charming, instantly smitten, approaches Cinderella, his eyes reflecting pure admiration. Hand in hand, they glide across the floor, lost in a world of their own, oblivious to the envious stares. As the clock nears midnight, Cinderella's heart races with a mixture of joy and trepidation. With a final, lingering glance at the prince, Cinderella quietly slips away, her shimmering gown fading into the night. 2 nights pass in a whirlwind of silk and splendor as Cinderella graces the royal ballroom in ever more enchanting gowns. Each appearance deepens the prince's infatuation, his eyes following her every move across the glittering floor. On the 3rd night, a cunning plan takes shape as the prince orders the palace steps coated with pitch. The shimmering ballroom transforms into a gilded trap, awaiting its elusive prey. Unbeknownst to Cinderella, the prince's desperate measure could either bind them together or tear them apart. Cinderella flees down the palace steps, her gown a silken wave in the moonlight. As the clock begins to chime, panic etches across her face, a desperate race against the impending stroke of midnight. A golden slipper is left behind, snagged on the steps, unnoticed in her frantic escape. The prince emerges, breathless, his gaze fixed on the shimmering object left in her wake. He retrieves the slipper, his expression hardening with a newfound resolve. The prince enters the hall, golden slipper in hand, declaring, "I will marry the maiden whose foot fits this slipper." The stepsisters, garish and desperate, fight to jam their feet into the slipper, their faces contorted in vain effort. White wings flutter as the doves guide the prince's gaze to a smudge of soot by the hearth. Cinderella approaches timidly as the stepsisters sneer, their malice fading as she sits. Effortlessly, Cinderella slips her foot into the golden slipper. It fits perfectly. The prince's eyes light up. Beneath the radiant sun, Cinderella and the prince celebrate their wedding, a spectacle of joy and unity. Amidst the jubilant crowd, the stepsisters stand with faces etched with hope and a hint of trepidation. Cinderella's radiant smile shines as she approaches them. "Welcome. I'm so glad you could both be here. We hoped you wouldn't mind us attending," stepsister one says, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "I know, and I forgive you. Let us all celebrate together," Cinderella says, extending an olive branch.